Hello, this is John with Good Burger Reviews, and I'm here to do a brand new 2025 movie review, and the movie is House of Eden.
Let's check out this creepy ass house.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel good about this.
This movie was directed by Cal McCrease. It was released to Shudder in September of 2025. It is starring Cal McCrease, or Chris, Selena Myers, Jason Christopher. The basic overview is setting out to film their next paranormal investigation. Chris, Selena, and Jay encounter a malevolent ancient spirit that resides in an abandoned house deep in the woods. Okay, as you guys can see, I am not in my usual spot where I like to record at my own home. But I'm visiting a close family member, and I saw a great movie on Shudder this morning. I decided I wanted to film my review while I'm visiting a family member and get that out to you guys, because I actually really like this one. It was a enjoyable ride. Now, it's nothing new. It's definitely a mix of two movies, and those movies are The Blair Witch Project meets Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor. And yes, that's a long title to say, but that's the title. And this movie really is a blend of both movies perfectly, because it's very much the Blair Witch Project format. It is found footage. You have three characters that are out and about traveling. They're like professional documentary ghost hunters, whatever you want to call them. Very similar to Heather and the two boys that were in the Blair Witch Project, and Margot and her crew that was at the Carmichael Manor. Blair Witch Project mostly focused in the woods and ended up at a house at the way end. And the Carmichael Manor mostly focused on a house, and then there was like a few segments of them running around in the woods. This one is like, it's like almost 50-50. I'd say it maybe leans a little bit more to the house, but they do spend a lot of time out in the woods. So, what are the positives on House of Eden? Well, I really like these characters. So, two of the three characters are very likable, and that is Selena and Jay. Chris, on the other hand, is a mixed bag. Now, everyone's acting is fine, and it is done well here, because I feel like sometimes with found footages, you get really poor acting or just like generic acting. And I feel like these guys did a good job of portraying actual people, the way they behave when they're just kind of with their friends doing this type of stuff. Especially Selena. Selena, I feel like, is the standout in this crowd. But everyone does well. Another positive to this one is the traditional spooks, haunts, bump in the nights, running through the woods, haunted houses, you know, demons, all that. Tension, great build of tension in this one. It's definitely more of a slow, lower tension. Like, the tension's not super high, but it seems to be always there. And there's some moments where it gets pretty creepy and wild, but I think they're going for more of a realistic version of how ghost hunters act when they're out doing these types of journeys and doing these types of projects. There is definitely a decent dynamic between our three main stars. You have Chris, who's like the Heather of the group, who is, it's her project, it's her idea, it's like her show, and she's kind of running it. And she definitely is a little bit more gruff than Heather, and even Margot. And I feel like with Heather from Blair Witch Project and Margot from the Carmichael Manor, like, they definitely had like that leadership role where they were kind of running it. And they would push buttons to get their crew to do things that they needed to do to, you know, get the results they wanted for their documentaries. Now, Selena, she was just comical. She was definitely the most variety of a character. Like, I was cracking up laughing when she whips out this like poop tent, like a tent that you whip out to poop in. First, she opens it in their van while they're traveling, and I'm like, what the heck is that thing? It looked like a pop-up tent. And then she takes it out into the woods because she's got to go. You know, when nature calls, nature calls. And there's literally a scene with her in the tent, and it's like loaded with flies, like she just done her business. Totally hilarious. I mean, it just, it's what young people would do in this scenario. They're enjoying what they're doing. Before it gets creepy, they're having a grand old time. They're on a trip. They're out in the woods, and they're doing what they do. And then Jay is the one, I guess, that kind of creates the little bit of tension between the two girls, because it seems like maybe he has a crush on Chris, and Selena might have a crush on him. So it's kind of like this little circle of like a love triangle almost. I mean, they don't play into that much. There's a couple scenes where they kind of lean into this type of conversation. Another big positive in this one was the setting of the house. Now, the woods are always the woods. They were the same. But the house was really creepy, really done well. I like the setting of this house. It was an old house. It's definitely deep in the woods. There's no road to it. They literally had to park like what seemed like a mile away to get to it. Like they literally walked almost, I don't know how long it took them to get there, because it's daytime and it's nighttime and they're at the house. It seems like they found the house at nighttime. Okay, so what I'll put in the mix, and I usually put this in the mix for found footages. I feel like when it comes to found footages, Blair Witch was, like with the camera work, it's a mess. You know, zooming in, lots of running, lots of shaky cam. And this has that a little bit. They bring 3 cameras, so it's like 2 of the cameras seem to be very steady and very modern, and it almost looks like professional film cameras. And then they have this one camera that's like an older version camera where it's the quality of the film isn't as great, and it's very gritty, and it's very shaky cam with those. But even with the other cameras, there's a lot of turning really fast, very much like Blair Witch. Now, Carmichael Manor didn't really suffer with this as much. And I would say this is like right in the middle. That's why I'm putting it in the mix. So the camera, I feel like unless you're super sensitive to motion sicknesses with cameras and these types of films, probably won't bother you too much, because there's a lot of steady time as well. And I guess I'll also put this in the mix. I mean, this is purely a carbon copy of the Blair Witch Project. I mean, it's very formulaic with the way they show up. You know, they do their things, then they go into the woods and they get lost and all that, and they get stuck in the house and demons come out, blah, blah, blah. As far as the negatives, I will say there is some slow parts. There is some sloggy parts of it, mostly in the front to middle. Once in the end, things start to pick up with the demon and all that, it gets a little bit better. I mean, there's some good tension with this witch that they're chasing, and they use some new tactics with this. Like they're definitely using high-tech gadgets. Like there's this one thing that's like a box that the ghost can talk through, and then there's another like little balls that they set, and there's this cool scene where they do these little balls and they light up, like little lights light up in the balls when the ghost is near it. And I guess that's kind of a mixed positive, but I'm going to get down to business at this one. I want to keep this one mostly as spoiler free. I don't feel like I dropped too many spoiler things on this one. Maybe you can consider this a mild spoiler review, but it is worth a watch if you have Shudder, if you like found footage, if you like haunted ghost stories, if you like witch stories and all that. This one definitely does a decent job. There's definitely a little cultic flair to it as well. So I'm going to give this a good burger, because I feel like I don't know anyone in here. I don't know what company this is from, but I feel like they did a really good job, and it's probably a very low budget and amateurs that are behind this. So I'm giving it a good burger for what it is for a streamer, and I recommend you guys to, if you have Shudder, to get it. And if you're a horror fan and you don't have Shudder, why don't you have Shudder? Shudder is a great station for horror movies. And don't forget to stay scared of those witches that are haunting houses for over 60 years deep in the woods.